sit back in the...
Is together. We're live from trackside here at Road America, and the cars are lining up ready for qualifying for the IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship, all part of the Continental Tire Road Race Showcase this weekend, which brings Porsche as well as Lamborghini and the Continental Tire event to this fantastic circuit. Just a slight delay. We had a nasty coming together in the last 3 minutes of the Porsche GT3 Cup Challenge USA by Yokohama about 10 or 15 minutes ago, but the ever-efficient marshals and track services crew have made sure that there is not a trace of that accident so that we can get underway here. Jeremy Shaw is enjoying this packed weekend of endurance and GT motor racing. GTD category. At one stage during the final practice session, Jeremy, we had all 9 manufacturers in the top 9, all separated by, what was it? Well, 7/10 of a second, isn't it?
Yeah, 8 of them by
8.
By a blink of an eye.
Yeah, 7/10 of a second or something like that. Barely a few hundred yards on the track. If you'd set them off all together, they would have been across the line quicker than I could have announced them, is basically how it comes. It is the GT Daytona qualifying first. And for those of you just joining us on the vision side of our sound and vision, no 93 car. Shea Adam telling us earlier on that that car still being worked on. A rather nasty looking accident for Catherine Legg, just hooking the curb on the exit of Canada Corner and hitting the right-hand side wall fairly hard, albeit that there's a tyre barrier there, but my goodness, the right front of that car took a heck of a pounding.
Yeah, I think she just caught the end of the tyre barrier, didn't she? So, as you say, could have been worse, but there'll be a pretty extensive repair list, I think, for that Michael Shank Racing with Curb Agajanian team, but hopefully they'll get it all back together again and be ready to go for tomorrow. It's going to be a really interesting session, I think, right now. BMW, they've won here before, and no doubt should be fast again this afternoon. But as we were talking about, you know, it's so close amongst all these different manufacturers.
Just time to get your picks in at www.podiumpredictor.com, powered by IHG Rewards Club. But you'll have to be quick because they've got to be in before qualifying starts. It's full dry, easy tyre choice here. It will be the slick tyres from Continental for GT Daytona. This is going to be very interesting indeed. It's a 15-minute session. If you're not used to this, don't expect people sitting around too long in the pit lane because there isn't time. Basically, you get out there, you fuel the car with enough in it to do however many laps you think. You get out there, and whoever's doing the qualifying, who, by the way, is the driver who has to start the race for you, slap him with raw meat, or in Andy Lally's case, some kind of quinoa.
Carrot.
Yeah. And say bad things about the driver's family. Whatever you can do to rile them up, because there really isn't time to do as most of us do in the morning. You know, when we go to work, what do? Grab a newspaper, maybe a cup of coffee, stand by the water cooler, have a little bit of a chat, find out what guys did over the weekend or the night before. What did you watch on television? No time for that, I'm afraid. It is get into it straight away. And leading them out is the 63 championship leading in GTD Ferrari, the Scuderia Corsa 488 GT3. Christina Nielsen on qualifying duty. It'll be Andrew Davis in the 57 Stevenson Audi. Cooper McNeil in the 50 Porsche this weekend. And if this is your first time with us this weekend, that's a change. They've got 2 different manufacturers of cars in that team, available to that team. They've been using the AMG GT, but feel that the balance of performance is leaning towards the Porsche in this race. So, well, they've got one, roll it out. Ben Keating qualifies his AMG GT Mercedes number 33. Michael de Quesada in the 28 Allegra Motorsports Porsche. Jerome Mull in the 16 Lamborghini. He was quick today. Jack Hawksworth is listed to go out in the 15. We'll wait to see if that is actually confirmed. Robert Alon will go out in the sister car, the 14, and indeed has done. Osnegri Jr. in the Oni Acura will see. Jesse Kron in the 96. I think it's Scott Pruitt's helmet that I saw in the 15. Yes, it was. So that is a change of driver lineup this weekend. Or is it?
Yeah.
So Pruitt and Hawksworth are together in the 15 now,
Correct.
are they?
Yeah.
Right, OK. And Robert Alon and Sage Karam are in the 14.
Correct.
Right, so that is a change from what we've seen earlier in the season. Just a little bit of a batting order change, if you will. I'm only saying that because I know Stephen Simpson will be listening somewhere, and I'm not sure he's seen the cricket score yet, but we'll get into that later on.
Another one down.
Is that it?
No, 220 for 9.
OK.
142
So,
behind.
just under 13 minutes to go, and it's the calm before the storm, Jeremy, isn't it, really? As the cars are out on their, effectively their warm-up lap. Interesting to see for me always how the different drivers and or the different manufacturers, teams attack warming up their Continental tyres, whether it's get on it straight away or whether it's take a steady out lap. 48 is out, that's the Lamborghini of Paul Miller Racing, and that has Madison Snow on board on qualifying duty, so Madison will start the race, going through the kink, giving the kink plenty of respect on this warm-up lap. No point in throwing it off there. Would say, by the way, that the weather round here in the last couple of days, and indeed for a few weeks previously, has been pretty wet, very wet in the last couple of days, and there's been plenty of rain in the few weeks previous to that, so the green bits are very green and still damp and indeed muddy in places, as Christina Nielsen is down towards turn 5 for her first flying lap. So she will get the opportunity to put the first lap in. Now, Christina likes to play herself in a bit. I do not expect to see her breaking qualifying lap records the first lap out. They'll bring those Continentals up to temp and pressure gently. Car looked like it's working well through the carousel, but not really being leaned on there. The 63 car this is, and has got one of the AMGs in relatively close attendance. I think that's Ben Keating. Yes, it is, in the white and green AMG GT. So Christina will want to pick her pace up as she heads down towards Canada Corner.
Best qualifying so far this season for Christina as a 5th place, but fair to say the depth of field in GT Daytona is way stiffer this year than last year. Last year she had a best qualifying of 2nd at Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca. She qualified 5th here for this race 1 year ago at Road America. So, you know, she goes well here. She likes this racetrack. She loves this racetrack, and she's certainly going to be a contender, I think. I'm not sure I would pick her for the pole certainly, but she is. She'll be happy if she can get in the top 4 or 5.
Across the start line, and did pick her pace up at the end of that. Ben Keating with the best time so far is a 2:10.3, but he was on a flying lap whilst Christina was still building to hers, a 2:12.5. Cooper McNeil in the Porsche next through with a 2:16, again still building pace, but it's Andrew Davis who puts the first representative time in. He was on it very quickly indeed, a 2:08.7 round the first corner. Now he's going to catch traffic very quickly if the cars ahead don't start to speed up, because he is really moving in the 57 Stevenson Audi. Took their first victory of the season up at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park in what was a banner weekend for the team. John Stevenson not there, but both of his cars in two separate series taking the top step of the podium, and repeat win for the Camaro in the Continental Tyre Sports Car Challenge last time out at Lime Rock Park. And by the way, you can see and hear that race. No global, no geo-block, excuse me, and no ads. The Continental Tyre race comes up later on this afternoon here on IMSA TV and radio.
Watching now the Lamborghini of Corey Lewis, isn't it, qualifying the number 16 car?
No, I thought it was Jerome Mull. Yes, it is Jerome Mull.
We were watching previously, though, the other Lamborghini, that was Madison Snow, just moved up into second position. That is the car that qualified on the pole last time out at Lime Rock Park a couple of weeks ago. And well, I was going to say that Christina Nielsen just went purple in Sector 1, which she did, but her time has just been bettered in that Sector 1 by, well, first of all by Robert Alon, and then by Jesse Kroner in the number 96 BMW. Yeah, I talked about that car.
Now, still haven't seen the 80 Mercedes AMG yet. Now, that car had a bit of an incident earlier on as well. This is the...
It is out on track.
Oh, yes, it is out.
Oh, or maybe not. Is it coming into the pits?
I must have come straight back into the pits. Right, that would have helped if we just looked over the top. So the engine cover off on that
to the top. Ben Keating went to the top there with a 208.2, immediately bettered by Andrew Davis, number 33 Client Command AMG Mercedes. Really good lap there for Ben Keating.
15 has Scott Pruitt on board. He's building up gently in the Lexus. Lexus here in force this weekend. The new coupe sitting down on their manufacturer stand. IMSA paddock looking more and more now like a impromptu car show every weekend, with the manufacturer interest across the series. At Daytona this year we had 14 different manufacturers represented on vendor row. It's particularly taken by the svelte lines of the new Lexus coupe. And its racing sibling is out on circuit at the moment.
Madison Snow, well, Jesse Krohn first of all went to the top, then Madison Snow, a 207.420 for Madison Snow. Jesse Krohn, a 207.481 in the BMW. Jerome Mull, 207.489 in the number 16 Change Racing Lamborghini. So those top three within 0.07 of a second.
Yeah, and 2/10 further back, Scott Pruitt with his first flying lap, really. He took a couple of laps to get the heat and temperature into
Patrick Lindsay's on a good lap. A very good lap.
Lexus in fourth position with a 207.6, and Patrick Lindsay is on a good lap.
There he goes across the line.
And jumps up to sixth position. Ooh. Didn't hook it up in the last sector there.
Must have made a mistake somewhere in the last sector, because he lost a lot of time, lost over a second in that final sector. He's only half a second behind the...
Watch that Lexus, Jeremy, of Scott Pruitt, because they have done it very differently from everybody else, taking much more time before they unleashed Scott to the circuit. And he has the fastest time of anyone in the first sector, 36.6 seconds.
Yeah, got a little bit of experience, hasn't he, about qualifying sessions, Scott Pruitt?
Yes. How many pole positions?
Pole positions? Well, since we switched the IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship, he has 2. But before that,
how many of that in
the old days? Beg pardon?
How many of that in the in the old days? In the Grand Dam days?
I'll take a bit more digging.
A lot, I think.
Well, in the various different series.
Yeah. He knows how to qualify, does Scott? And if he thinks it's going to take a couple of laps to get the heat into those Lexus tyres. Robert Alon, by the way, has gone up into 9th position. Scott Pruitt, a 52 flat in the second sector. Now, that's pretty good. Jesse Krohn in the BMW has just done a 51.9. That's the best second sector time. So lots of improvement to come as Krohn takes the GTD provisional pole with a 207.0, and all of a sudden there's 0.3 of a second. But Scott Pruitt is going to pull that back down as Krohn goes wide at turn 1, but holds on to the Turner Motorsport car. There goes Jeroen Mull in the Lamborghini, the 16 car. 206.8. Wow! Yeah. That's pushing on, and even Scott Pruitt couldn't better that. A 207.1 for Scott.
Yeah, he lost time in the final sector, did Scott Pruitt. He was looking good for the pole otherwise, but lost a fair bit of time, lost 0.3 of a second. He did in the final sector, Pruitt, and the margin between those two only 0.276.
The number 80 car has disappeared. It had its bonnet, its hood up in front of us, but it hasn't gone back onto the track. Shea Adam.
The crew were actually pushing the car behind the wall, John, so it was not well enough to drive itself back to the garage even.
Oh dear. Thank you, Shea. Shea sounding like Phoebe with a cold at the moment. Rendition of Smelly Cat later on. I'll get the guitar out. 206.894 then is the mark. 3.5 minutes to go. No chance to fight back if you make a mistake. That's a lap gone. You've got to forget about it. Patrick Lindsay up to third in the 73 Park Place Porsche.
Yeah. Mull and Krohn on better laps now.
Top 5 separated by half a second.
Yeah.
Lamborghini, BMW, Porsche, Lexus, Lamborghini, Ferrari, Audi, Mercedes, Acura, Lexus. That's your top 10. '15 car out on the circuit is Scott Pruitt as he heads down to Canada Corner. Neat, tidy, stays within the lines, just as you should do when you're colouring in or a qualifying lap. It does have a flat, plain crank noise to that engine, that Lexus. I do like that. Inch perfect coming off the final corner and heading up the hill. Now, is Pruitt improving? Hasn't done a best sector for himself yet, but no. Has he saved it in the final corner? Lost time in the first 2 sectors. I think he's just building up now to start a new challenging lap, let's put it that way. Lifted off to cool down those Continental tyres in the first 2 sectors of that lap, and now building up once again. Patrick Lindsay goes by us and heads towards turn 1. Wait a second for the timing. There it is, 2:07.2. You're asking about poles for Scott Pruitt. Yeah. 34. That'll in total, going back to basically everything. That puts him 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th on the all-time list. Bill Auberlin, the leader, he's going to maybe have an opportunity to extend that. He's got 43 poles. Peter Gregg, Peter Gregg, that's going back, isn't it? 37. Parker Johnstone, also 37. All of those IMSA GT days. And James Weaver in 4th place on 37. Weaver bird. Yeah. Alex Sims, I think, qualifying rather than Bill today. We'll find out a little later on here on our live coverage from trackside at Road America. IMSA TV and radio together. No geo blocks, no ads. Was that another improvement for your own ball? 206.6. It was last time around. Takes him to 0.2 away from Yesekron. Patrick Lindsay half a second back, and all of a sudden the gap's just opening out a little bit, but only a little bit. So no 93 accurate accident damage from earlier this morning. Hooked the curb on the exit of the Canada Corner area, and I'm afraid the 80 Lone Star AMG has not turned a competitive lap with engine problems. The car's gone back behind the wall in this session, and Madison Snow calls time on his qualifying. Just 26 seconds left. The Paul Miller Racing Lamborghini back in the pit lane. So this is a new lap record for GT Daytona. That stood previously to Alex Riberas in the Porsche last year, 207.5. Rules new standard 206.649, and that was quicker even than this morning when Lawson Aschenbach, I think it was, turned 206.6. Yes, Kron's got closer, Jeremy, and improved 206.8. Now it's down to 0.174 of a second, and they have both got one more lap. Is there enough in them, in the tyres, in the track? As out come the GT Le Mans cars.
Scott Pruitt
Out of the car. He has seen the checkered flag, as is Christina Nielsen. She's down in 8th. Scott Pruitt in 4th. Ben Keating goes through in 9th. Andrew Davis, Madison Snow into the pits. We mentioned Patrick Lindsay's in the pits. Jesse Krohn is where? In sector 2 at the moment, middle part of the track. Robert Alon still out there in 10th position. Cooper McNeil comes in the Porsche number 50 in 11th position. Well, they're swapped from a Mercedes. How many Mercedes ahead of them? Ben Keating in the Mercedes ahead of them. But that's the only one. Kenny Abul behind them. Well, the 80 car didn't qualify effectively. So will that pay off for them in the race, having changed from the AMG GT to the Porsche GT3?
So Jeroen Mull, this is only the second time he's qualified the car this season. The only other time was at Daytona. So of course this is his first season in IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship, first visit to Elkhart Lakes Road America. So what a great effort that was by the Dutchman. And
Jesse Krohn has come into the pit lane, so it will be Jeroen Mull who takes pole position for the Continental Tire Road Race Showcase and the IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship tomorrow, live in sound. And if you're outside the US, Vision 2 from trackside. If you're in the US, consult your Fox schedule.
So it's the 7th different pole-sitting car this season in GT Daytona. The only double pole-sitter was number 48, Paul Miller Racing entry. That was Madison Snow, qualified on the pole at Long Beach and last time out at Lime Rock.
And a quick pit stop practice for the team. Immediately congratulated by his teammate Jeroen Mull. For some reason, a lot taller than I had remembered him. Quite a tall lad, isn't he, Jeroen? And that is our first of 4 pole positions to be set in this session. Shea Adam will be down and give us a Continental Tire pit lane report. Just waiting for the helmet to come off. That was fairly sort of muted celebrations there, Shea, as if they kind of expected Jeroen to do that. The young man is now ready to talk to Shea.
Well, I think Jeroen did expect to do that. First pole position, congratulations. Your first time to Road America. Clearly you like this circuit, yeah?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's been a long time coming for us this year to finally get, at least, it's not a race yet, but it's a good start definitely. I really do enjoy the track. Practiced it a lot in the simulator preparing, coming here as it's one of the 11 new tracks for me this year. So it's going to be cool racing here, but I've enjoyed it so far, definitely.
If the rain comes, will that make the 16 even stronger?
Well, we were very confident yesterday in the wet. Corey, my teammate, did an excellent job yesterday in first free practice to run the car in the wet and test our setup there. So we feel very confident with that. We were honestly a little bit anxious to see how it was going to be in the dry, but apparently it worked out.
Well, congratulations and good luck tomorrow.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was very good indeed. A very assured performance from Jeroen Mull. Yeah, one of just the 11 new circuits he's got to learn this year. Clearly enjoys doing that. It's IMSA Radio and IMSA TV together, live from trackside at Road America. So, chalk the first one off. How did you do in your podium predictor? Is that one of your picks for the weekend? The 16 Lamborghini? Too late now for this weekend. AJ Allmendinger, the man that you have to beat as our expert pundit. And we'll be opening up the competition for the next round, VIR, which is, what, 3 weeks away? Yeah,
it is. We've got a little bit of a break before that. Certainly great news here for Change Racing, Robbie Benton and the guys there. And I know they'd be particularly looking for a strong result this weekend because one of their main sponsors, Orion Energy, is based up in Manitowoc. So they're going to have a lot of guests here for the race tomorrow afternoon.
So the celebrations continue. Just for the sake of probity, Jesse Krohn captures the outside of the front row for GT Daytona in the 96 Turner BMW. First time for yesterday at this track as well. Patrick Lindsay, very creditable third position on the grid for the Park Place Porsche, ahead of Scott Pruitt in the best of the Lexus in fourth. Andrew Davis for Audi in fifth. The 57 Stevenson car will have the 48 Lamborghini of Paul Miller Racing. Madison Snow qualified that in sixth position. Those two close company. Seventh, inside of row 4 then, Austin Egby Jr. for the only Acura that qualified. Remember, the 93 damaged this morning in an accident. Single car accident, car versus wall, wall 1, Acura 0. And front right suspension and chassis damage there that is being looked at the moment. Outside of the fourth row, championship leading Christina Nielsen with the Scuderia Corsa Ferrari. And then we'll do the top 10. Ben Keating in 9th position for AMG, and Robert Lalonde for Lexus on the outside of the 5th row.
Yeah, so third pole of the season for Lamborghini. And certainly they'll be delighted with that. Two on the bounce there now for Lamborghini, and the first for Change Racing.
I'm told, by the way, from Right Turn Lover, who's tweeted at IMSA Radio, read Jeroen Mul's height. The Dutch are, per average, the tallest people in Europe. That's our useless stat of the day. Excellent, RTL. Very well done indeed. I mean, that's exactly what Twitter is for. Shea Adam, tell me who'll be qualifying in GT Le Mans.
So you give me that to follow up? Oh, man, come on, John.
Starting at the tallest and working down to the smallest, please. Can we have them in height order, please?
I can try. Okay. Oliver Gavin, who I think is
yes, very good.
would be the tallest. He will be qualifying the 4 car. He's only got 1 pole to his name, and that came at Daytona a couple years ago. So that would be very nice for him to return to the scene of the surprise last year and claim another pole. Who would be next? Let me think. Probably Martin Tomczyk would be next. He is driving the number 24 BMW.
You are putting them in height order now.
I'm really, really trying.
Well done.
We've got Alexander Sims, who will be qualifying the number 25. Then I think would probably be... probably Patrick Pile in the number 911.
Right.
Then Jimmy Bruni in the number 912.
They're very similar, yes, okay.
Very similar heights. 66 would be Dirk Mueller. I think he's slightly taller than Ryan Briscoe, who's driving the 67.
That's a tough call as well, in fairness.
And Ryan is about the same height as his former co-driver, Jan Magnussen, who's in the 3. I think I just did it.
Very impressive.
Can we line them all up after the session's done and see? But no, it would be a very exciting session. Now, Dirk Mueller, his only pole came at Road America 12 months ago, so he would like to back that up and prove that he is still the fastest guy around here. And John Edwards, if he was able to qualify, he also has a pole at Road America, but he's in his street clothes. His job is done for the day. It's all up to Martin. They seem to give the qualifying duties to the new guys, do BMW this year.
Well, this is a battle of the automotive giants, isn't it? All of these teams with factory support, 8 cars, 4 manufacturers, 4.048 miles around and 15 minutes on the clock. Very different philosophies behind these manufacturer cars, but brought together originally under the ACO rules, and then the balance of performance here at the IMSA Championship looked after by that outstanding IMSA technical team. 2 BMWs in their last season of competition, replaced next year by the M8 GTE, which is a full house GTE car, will be eligible for Le Mans, and obviously will race here in the GTLM class. Indeed, will make its competition debut at the Rolex 24 Daytona in the early part of next season. BMW very excited to be going back to Le Mans with a conventional internal combustion engine. Early reports from testing at the Lausitzring with the 4-litre twin-turbo engine on the new M8. Very encouraging indeed. Green flag is in the air. The 15 minutes is counting down. Both Corvette and both BMWs going out. That's unusual for BMW and for Corvette. They're both going out early. They tend to be the teams that sit in the pit lane, and they have gone out line astern in team order as they are lined up in the pit lane. Well, that's interesting. So, Chip Ganassi Racing and Core Autosport, or Porsche North America, Porsche GT team, and they're called, aren't they, this year? 912 heading out. And the new RSR looking absolutely brilliant. They're wide arches. People asking us over the season, how come the Porsche is allowed the big wide arches when something like the GTE Ferrari isn't? Well, it doesn't work like that, actually. There's no GT Ferrari here this weekend. Risi not back quite yet, but we'll be back in the championship in a wee while. There is a maximum width allowed of all of the cars. The Ferrari standard road car, the street car, is pretty much on the limit, as is the Ford GT. Whereas the Porsche is a bit narrower, so they get more bulbous arches. That's basically how it works. They have to fit in a box. And the width in particular very closely monitored, as the height of the rear wing, the size of the diffuser underneath the rear bumper. Hearing that Dan Binks from Corvette Racing had his charity auction earlier on, $42,000 raised, and that was for a very good cause, Adam.
For the camp that he runs, Anojikig, I think is how you pronounce it, or and I know I just butchered that. Anojikig, probably, but he is a board member and a former camper. So for him to be able to raise $42,000, that's up from $26,000 last year. Camp, it was started in 1926, but Dan has been doing this auction for more than 10 years. So that's really cool that they were able to do that.
Thank you, Shea. And there's an Austin Hatcher auction in the pit lane at Michael Shank Racing tomorrow at their trailer. Another very worthy cause. Memorabilia up for grabs there. Very cool stuff. So the car's out with just 12.5 minutes to go. Michelin tyres on all of these GT Le Mans cars, of course. And again, we will see the difference in strategy as to how the teams and drivers have decided to attack this short session.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting too. We've seen the Porsches have been on pole for each of the last two races, on two pretty different racetracks, Canadian Tire Motorsport Park and Lime Rock Park. But this weekend so far, well, most of the practice was wet until this morning, but they've not quite been on the same pace as either the BMWs or the Fords, which appear, going into qualifying, to have slightly the upper hand.
Magnificent sound from the flat 6 of the new Porsche RSR. New exhaust doing exactly as it should do, barking out that glorious and very distinctive engine note as it howled past us. Still no representative times put in from these guys as we count down towards the 11 minutes.
Yeah, first laps being completed now, but not really representative lap times yet, or fully representative lap times. We'll certainly see over the next 2 or 3 laps. I would think when we would be most likely to see the pole position set.
And I think we'll probably see people parking fairly quickly. You do have to start on the tyres that you qualify. So just easing themselves in. Ollie Gavin, the first one to start picking up the pace in the number 4 Corvette, 2:07.1. Still to be faster than the fastest of the GT Daytona cars.
We haven't seen the existing qualifying record. We've seen one of the Porsches here running way wide.
It's the 912, Jeremy.
Yeah.
And that has Jimmy Bruni at the wheel.
Jimmy got his first pole last weekend, of course.
On his first time qualifying.
Yeah. What was going? Oh yeah, the qualifying lap record here was by the old school Porsche 911 RSR in 2015. So 2 years ago, Earl Bamber turned to 202.384. Last year's pole to Dirk Mueller in the Ford at the 202.451. The best time we've seen so far, though, today was this morning, and that was a. We did get down to 202.1 actually, so it was sub-record at the end. That was Martin Tomczyk, I think, wasn't it? Number 24 BMW. Yeah, really stout lap from him.
Got great variety, haven't we, Jeremy, in this category, albeit there's only 4 manufacturers, but you've got Ford there with this otherworldly GT prototype, effectively, car with the 3.5 litre EcoBoost engine mounted amidships, the engine that came out of the old Daytona prototype. Very highly developed race focused car. You've got the venerable Chevy Corvette with the V8 up front. Testing continuing on the replacement for the C7R. Once again, the old I saw the old photographs pop up again this week of the flatbed Corvette, which is alleged to be the mid-engine car, the Zora project. BMW again, front-engined, rear-wheel drive, and then the Porsche, of course, with the flat 6 engine, the Boxer engine, horizontally opposed to give it its proper title. But that has been moved inside the wheelbase now in that car, pushed well forward. In point of fact, the regulations for GT Le Mans from the ACO have been massively opened up. And actually, you can put the engine where you want now. It doesn't have to stay in the original engine compartment. So you could have a rear-engine BMW if you wanted to, or indeed a front-engine 911. What you can't do is change the orientation of the engine. So if the engine is front to back, north-south as it's normally called, it has to stay that way. If it's a transversely mounted engine, i.e. across the frame, then it has to stay that way. But you can move it forward and back as you please.
And all I mean, they've all been super closely matched this season, and they've spread out the poles amongst them too. They've had 2 poles for Porsche, 2 poles for BMW, and 1 apiece, for Ford, 1 apiece for BMW and Chevrolet from the. That's only 6, isn't it? Who's the third one? Who's the extra one? To go back to that one. Okay, 3 for Ford, big one. 3 poles for Ford, 2 for Porsche. 1 apiece for Chevrolet and BMW coming into this weekend's 8th round of the championship. Alexander Sims at the top now, a 202.751, the first one to really lay down a lap, but yeah. Martin Tomczyk now is on a really, really good lap in the sister number 24 car. As is Dirk Mueller actually in the number 66 Ford. He's got a 1/10 of a second on him in the first sector, nearly half a second in the second sector. Number 66 Ford. There goes the Chevrolets across the line. 203.8 for Gavin, 204.4 for Magnussen.
Dirk Mueller is about to go to the top and displace
Tomczyk has just gone to the top,
yes, with
a 202.6.
Stand by for the Chip Ganassi car. There it goes. The 66 goes through. How about a 201.7? That's 8.5 tenths quicker than anybody else. And all of a sudden, the gauntlet is thrown down. It's not just thrown down, it's taken to 30,000 feet and flung down.
So there's our second track record of the day. Significantly quicker than the best lap in practice earlier today, which is a 202.1. So in the ones now, Dirk Mueller.
Yeah, there might be a bit more to come, I think. Dirk doing a cracking job.
Tomczyk's just gone purple in Sector 1 in the BMW car number 24.
I'm not counting out Jimmy Bruni here either, Jeremy. Third in the Porsche at the moment, the 912. Loves this place. He had to miss out the first part of this season as part of his release agreement from that 5-year contract with Ferrari.
And that lap by Jimmy at a 202.6, that's already more than half a second quicker than the Porsches have managed so far this morning. So improvements coming in all the way up and down the line.
Jimmy on another good one, Mueller on another good one.
Well, Briscoe too, 67 Ford.
Well, he's a lap behind everybody else, so he's still sort of getting up to speed. he and Muller have done the fewest laps.
Fifth it now goes Briscoe to a 2.7.
They're all going to end up on the same second, aren't they? That's what's going to happen as everybody starts to get the times
Muller
in.
is flying.
Yeah, Muller is going down under. It's going to be a 2 minutes point something.
Yeah.
It's not just a 2:01.
Possibly. Tomczyk, by the way, having got purple in sector 1, is now lifted off in sector 2. So I don't know whether he made a mistake perhaps on that lap and is now kind of aborted. I don't know, but he's not maintained that pace.
2:02.3 for Alexander Sims, goes into second, but that's still 6 seconds adrift of the 66 Chip Ganassi car, which goes past us now in a blur of red, white and blue from our right to our 2:01.422. Goodness me.
Yep. Purple, 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 all 3 sectors then, faster than anybody else has managed for Dirk Muller in car number 66.
This is a Ford.
Second over the rest of the field.
This is a good circuit for the GT because, you know, that was a car that was built not with one thing in mind, but certainly the pressure for them to win Le Mans on their first time back to make the anniversary, the 66 to 2016 anniversary. So that car loves long straights and fast corners. Yeah. So it's in its element at various parts of this circuit, and it's not just good at those parts, it's very, very good indeed. And whatever other BOP you do, that's a slippery Le Mans style shape, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
And you can do things with, you know, fueling and restrictors, but ultimately that car is still going to cut through the air. And you know, why anybody thought it wasn't going to win Le Mans first time out, I have no. The only thing that surprised me was that they weren't first through fourth,
which they nearly were.
Yeah. But for Risi Competizione, the only people who took the fight to them, sadly not with us, Giuseppe and the rest of the team, just sort of girding their loins and regathering themselves for a couple of races towards the end of the season. We're told that they will be out at VIR, and then Petit Le Mans as well. And I think Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca. So last 3 races of the season for Risi. Marshall Pruitt with that story. A week or so, no more than that ago, because we were at Lime Rock when that broke, just before qualifying that they wouldn't be here. Marshall Pruitt listening in, I'm sure, at the moment. Sorry you couldn't get here due to the weather, MP. Enjoying the left-hand coast. And back at home at the moment. And also got to say, because I know that she will be listening, the doyenne of the WEC PR, and long-time part of the paddock here in America. Fiona Miller is celebrating a birthday today, obviously with connections with Penos and Risi as well, of course. Yep. Fiona, incredibly, 35 today, which she looks much younger than that. Fee, have a good one. Enjoy it with Andy. I'm sure he's got something very special planned for you tonight. Sorry, Andy, just drop you in there. But I just have a feeling that Faye will be tuned in somewhere at the moment.
Just saw a couple of improvements by Ryan Briscoe and Alexander Sims. Ryan Briscoe up into second place now in the 67 Ford. So it's Ford 1-2. Alexander Sims into third place. But they're the only guys within a second of Dirk Muller. That's a heck of a lap by the German.
Right, 51 seconds left. Who has got anything in the fast draw?
Yeah, I don't think anybody's got anything for Dirk right now.
3/4 of a second.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Muller has come into the pit lane. Briscoe, so it's an all red, white and blue front row at the moment as Briscoe goes through. Doesn't improve, but he has got through to start another lap. Sims had his best lap last time around for the 25 BMW. Jimmy Bruni still out there. Yeah, Sims might...
split the Fords.
He's got to find 3/4 of a second to do that, though, hasn't he? No, he hasn't. No, sorry. That's gap, not interval. My apologies. Yeah, he's only got to find blink of an eye.
Yeah, 0.008 of a second. That was him, I think, across the line there, wasn't it?
Yes, it was, but he got through before the checkered flag. Sims doesn't improve.
No, he lost it in the final sector, I think, a little bit there.
Tomczyk improves the 24 car's time, but still in 5th position for BMW, 2:02.5.
It's another 2:02.2 for Sims, but not quite as quick as his previous one. Very, very close, though.
2:02.6 for Pele last time around was the 911 Porsche's best time, but he's not on another quick one. Shea Adam gently sidling down towards the 66 Chip Ganassi pit. Porsche 911 pulls right-handed into the pits for Pele. And that then leaves Ryan Briscoe and Alexander Sims out there. It's not going to be Sims. He's lifted off in the first sector, but Briscoe's still on one. Two Corvettes together on the track, sitting in 7th and 8th at the moment. Ollie Gavin and Jan Magnussen. They won't improve this time around either. No. They're cruising.
Yeah, this will be Dirk Mueller's second pole in IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship. But you remember when he burst into this series initially, back in the year 2000, he scored a record 8 consecutive poles in the GT class with Dick Barber Racing. That was BMW as well, wasn't it? Mm. Or rather, that was BMW, I should say.
Yeah.
Wasn't it? Was it Porsche?
What year was that?
2000.
Porsche. Ran Lamborghini for a little while, but not very successfully.
Great lap, great lap there by Dirk. His first pole of this season.
Two Corvettes giving anyone next to the pit lane entrance here a great opportunity to get a nice picture. And Dirk Muller has decided that he's done enough.
This is his first pole since last year, right here at Road America. So this is a track he absolutely.
Driving with Joey Hand. And Shea Adam is down by the 66 Chip Ganassi racing car and can talk to our GT-LM pole sitter.
Well, this feels a bit like deja vu. I feel like we just did this 12 months ago. Dirk Mueller gets out of the car, you clap the roof, you're very appreciative, and you're aware that this is because of the team behind you. But another pole position and at Road America, what is it that makes you so fast around here?
Yeah, well, I don't know. I mean, first of all, it's all these guys here. They're really pushing us every weekend. So the 4 Chip Ganassi Racing boys, you know, they work so hard weekend by weekend and by weekend. And I mean, we have something open from last year, right? So I've been on pole here last year, and we got really tough luck in the opening lap last year when something happened and we had to fix it in the pit lane. And I think that's unfinished business. That's why we were really, really looking forward to this one. I personally, I really love being here in Road America. Eckert Lake is absolutely fantastic to me. I've done good here, but now it's all about tomorrow. Joy and myself, we absolutely like the same car. And, you know, we always dig down because it was really difficult yesterday with the rain. So both sessions were really limited in what we can do to the car in terms of what's good when it's dry. But both him and I, you know, we drive the same style, and so we know really what we need to do. And like I said, Damon had birthday yesterday, so it's a good one there. And I'm really happy.
Well, good luck in the race tomorrow.
Thank you.
Great stuff. 2 in 2 for Dirk Muller and for Chip Ganassi Racing. Just been a busy weekend here already. Still to come live in sound and vision. No geo blocks, no ads. We will have the Continental Tire Sports Car Challenge race, 2-hour contest. Perfectly synchronised in sound or vision. No excuses to miss that action coming up later on this afternoon. Our countdown to green. Starting in a little over half an hour, and then the race coverage in about an hour's time, a little bit more than that. And just yesterday, of course, we had Scott Atherton announcing a schedule for 2018 that sees us going back to Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course, taking the May date of the Circuit of the Americas. Sad not to be going back to the Austin area, do like that. But happy, I have to say, to be going back to Mid-Ohio. Classic sports car fodder there. And just something that might have got lost in the amount of press releases from Jill Campbell, Senior Vice President of Event Operations at Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca. Hello, Jill. Extending the relationship with IMSA ensures more great sports car racing that our fans love through to at least 2020. So a 3-year extension at Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca for IMSA. great deal to look forward to when the series returns for this year's event, the 21st to the 24th of September. And happy to welcome America's Tyre as an official partner and title sponsor of the feature WeatherTech race for 2017 and 2018. That coming in, as I say, it might have been missed in all of the press releases over the weekend, but that will, I'm sure, please West Coast fans and fans of sports car racing, and indeed Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca in general. Been a somewhat beleaguered time for that fabulous circuit, and a bit of stability with the IMSA series taking its business to them for at least 3 more years, and with a title sponsor as well, the tyre suppliers of America's Tyre signing up for 17 and 18 at least as the presenting sponsor of the big race. Well done to Jill Campbell, been round the business for a wee while, Jill, one of the hardest working people in our sport, and delighted to have that news come out of Monterey. Always an event I look forward to. Now, PC next. Now this, if you had to make a choice, Jeremy, on the podium predictor for pole position, this one shouldn't be too difficult. The answer would be?
The answer would be...
Don't build your part. Don't build your part, Shaw.
All right. James French.
38 car. Has
38 car.
How many this year? All of them.
No. They were beaten once.
Oh, were they?
Yeah, by Gustavo Jackerman. But I don't think Gustavo is qualifying his car today. I think it's going to be Mark Kawami, who will qualify number 26 car for Bar 1 Motorsports, and most likely Don Yount in the number 20 car. So that would leave Sheboygan's finest. That would be James French.
Well, he really is on home ground here, isn't he?
Absolutely.
Sleeping his own bed.
He's driven, yep, absolutely can. And has driven all sorts of different cars here, but never had a professional win here. Won all sorts of other races, but never won a professional race. So he's looking to set that record straight here tomorrow, and hopefully maintain that team's remarkable streak of 6 race wins in a row to begin this season.
Yeah, just 3 cars here, but what a servant to the series the Prototype Challenge cars have been down through the years. Servant to American sports car racing. The Orica 09s. Originally a LMP1 car, of course, full carbon fibre tube. And then once Orica acquired the IP for them, turned into a single manufacturer series car. Formula Le Mans it was called back in Europe. Didn't really take off. It was a support race at Le Mans one year. Certainly seem to remember it at Silverstone. I did a commentary at Silverstone at one of the races that I was covering there, one of the sports car races I was covering there, and it was, I'm afraid, fairly turgid, with maybe 10 or a dozen cars in that. But the car was brought over to the US and had a debut on the Sunday after Petit Le Mans one year. Gunnar Jeanette was the first driver to jump in it, and I don't know whether it was the big V8 engine or just the thought of the car itself, but it immediately found favour over here in the US and was brought in as, I think everybody thought at the time, Jeremy, just a bit of a stopgap to help fill the grids of an American Le Mans Series season that was looking a bit threadbare as the manufacturers were moving away to do other things, and long before the days of the WEC, but the Audi had left and one or two of the other manufacturers had left, and these cars, along with effectively the Porsche Cup cars, were brought in as a GTC category, and I think it was thought of as a bit of a short-term measure, and yet they've given great service down through the years, and we've enjoyed particularly practice sessions and race, but practice sessions have been brilliant down through the years.
Yeah, they haven't. We've seen some epic battles for pole positions over the years in PC. It always seems to come down to the final lap. For 1 year, a couple of years ago, it always seemed to be between James French and Chris Cumming, and they were separated by thousandths of a second, and generally it was James that managed to get the edge right at the end of the day. He had only 1 pole last season, though, did James, and that came right here at Road America, so he'll be looking to extend that little streak and take the pole again for the Performance Tech Motorsports team, that Very distinctive now. Red and black and a bit of grey on there as well. Looks great, that car, I think. Car number 38. And it will be James French who will get the qualifying duties once again.
And just, again, something that was confirmed, although we've been talking about it for over a year now with Scott Atherton on the air, as well as talking to us. There will be no prototype challenge cars next year, and it is a class that will not be replaced. So we will go from 4 classes to 3. We have a standalone prototype challenge, which is utilising the new LMP3 formula as well as the Mazda prototype challenge cars. So a mixed class of prototypes there, currently running in relatively short races. Paddock chatter suggests that the format of those races may be under review at the moment, with teams and some drivers wanting some longer races and some shared driving duties. And we'll wait to see what the official announcement is. There was no announcement about the prototype challenge yesterday within the schedule announcement meeting or briefing that Scott Atherton, the president of IMSA, gave. But it will be I'll sort of have mixed feelings, to be honest, about seeing the PC cars go. I do recognise how much of a contribution they've made, but this year, I'm afraid, there's been rather too few of them on the track. Great looking and great sounding cars. Got an upgrade, what, a couple of years ago now with a new...
Last year as well, for the electronics.
Yeah, new electronics packs and traction control and different gearbox settings. And they look like proper race cars. They sound great with that V8 variant of the LS3, if memory serves. The venerable General Motors V8. Rumble past us there, the 38 car.
Yeah, James, he's going for his third consecutive pole here, because he was also on the pole in 2015. So this is his home track, and he takes it very seriously. He's always looking for that home field advantage. And he'd like nothing better to just to get one more pole position here this weekend. He's had a total now of 9 poles, so this will be his the 10th of his career if he can put it together here this afternoon.
So it is Mark Varmey, by the way, in the 26 car. Jeremy's thoughts were correct. Don Yount in the 20 car, and as we've mentioned, 38 with James French. It's the 3 classes next year, as I've mentioned, but with additional manufacturers coming in, including Penske Honda, we'll have Mazda Yost Racing back in. That's 4 extra cars from what we have this weekend in the prototype class, which qualifying is up next, of course.
And JDC Miller Motorsports announced this week they're going to have an extra Orica chassis as well, so they'll be running 2 cars next year. That's very exciting news. That team from Minnesota stepping up this year from the PC, having cut their teeth in PC in terms of the IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship. Did a really, really good job there, and done a magnificent job in moving up this season into the prototype ranks. And for them to have running 2 cars next season is a big commitment. Interested
to find out with what happens with our Cadillac runners for next year and how they move forward. We know that Visit Florida have invested in the new Ligier, and that's already looking good for them. Still have a feeling, and I can't tell you anything more than this, but because I don't know, not because I'm trying to hide anything, but I think there's one more manufacturer out there for DPI next year. And there's 4 or 5 potential candidates. They're all playing their cards very close to their chest when I ask direct questions of them. There's one that's very favourite, which is a bit of a shocker. Ford not in the frame for at least a couple of seasons, according to Marshall Pro's article with Chip Ganassi a couple of days ago. Although I am led to believe that Chip Ganassi aren't out there running another manufacturer program, because if Ford aren't doing a manufacturer program, they have the option to do it with someone else and still run the GT program, is what I've been told. And
Andretti Autosport, I think, also been talking about it.
Very interested.
Ed Carpenter Racing at 2 has made it clear over the last week or so that that team might be interested in moving to sports cars alongside its IndyCar program.
And what I don't get about all of that, Jeremy, is and the reason I say that I still think there's another manufacturer out there is I don't think all of those teams, if all of those teams were to come in, I don't think there's enough cars out there from the current crop of manufacturers to be able to service all those teams. It'd be great if there were, but I've got to think that at least one of those would be looking to do their own program and develop a car with their own manufacturer. And particularly when you think of teams like Chip Ganassi and Andretti Autosport, they've got history, haven't they, of developing cars for manufacturers in various series. And it just makes me think that there's at least one more out there that we don't know about yet.
Yep. These are exciting times, I believe, for sports car racing, and particularly the IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship. There goes James French to the top of the charts. Eclipses all the GTLM cars pretty comfortably by almost 2 seconds. A 159.6 for James on his... That's his opening gambit. And that will... What's fastest time that car had done previously this weekend was a 158.0 by... That was by Pato Award this morning. It's a pretty stout lap.
Yeah, just remind as well that the cars that we're looking at now were also a class in ELMS, the European Le Mans Series, for at least a couple of seasons. Paul-Loup Chatin, one of the notable alumni. Thanks, Right Turn Lover. You're on fire today on the Twitter at IMSA Radio. Yeah, a couple of teams coming through from that category in the European Series as well, and moving forward into LMP2. I am sure that these cars will crop up in other places. Absolutely positive. Carbon fibre chassis, good looking bodywork, and an engine that is well known and well serviced over here. So James French then comfortably ahead with a sub-2 minute lap and an improvement coming. Don Young 2:02.4. That's not bad running from Don. Mark Kavame further back off the pace with a 2:06, still building his pace, and he will do so right till the end of the session, which is in about 6.5 minutes time. Here comes James French. Better than a 59.6? No, a 59.7. But a very good centre section. Sector 2. Through turn 1, he rumbles. Through goes Don Yount. Does not improve, 2:02.5, but very consistent, 2:02.475, 2:02.544. Mark Kavame will improve this time around. Here he comes. No complaints about people spoiling your lap here, with just 3 cars on the 4-mile circuit. And he just clips the small matter of 1.3 seconds off his time. Well done. Formidable cars to drive these, Jeremy, I would have thought. Full downforce package, big torque.
Yeah, a hoot, I would think. Certainly all the drivers that get out generally have a big smile on their face. And it has provided some tremendous racing. It is a shame there's only 3 cars this season. Starworks Motorsport started off with an entry at the beginning of the year, but unable to make that into a full-time thing. And
it's always a danger, isn't it, Jeremy, when you announce that a category is in its last year, that people start to look to do something else. It either brings everybody out the woodwork to give whatever cars they've got as a last hurrah, or people sort of say, better start looking elsewhere and look for a different business model.
Yeah, it was a little bit unfortunate the way that was. James French is on another good one here, though. Purple in both of the sectors, so substantial improvement. Can he keep it together coming through turn 40, and certainly using every bit of road there on the exit as he powers away up the hill toward the the start-finish line. Oh yes, 59.2 then for James French. Clipped another 3.5 tenths of a second or so away on that last lap. He's not done yet. Still 4 minutes remaining, so he's got time for another couple of laps, at least. 3 if he wants them.
Yes, and he will.
Yeah.
He's generally pretty solid. James doesn't throw the car at the scenery. He'll want to get down under a 159, I'm fairly certain, find another couple of tenths. And down through the years, we've seen these cars just get quicker through the qualifying sessions, and Continental have worked with the teams and drivers down through the years, having taken on this championship as part of their commitment to sports car racing. And you know, these are good old-fashioned qualifying sessions. That's why we've enjoyed them so much. You've got an amount of time on the clock. You stick one set of tyres on, put a bit of fuel in the car to get you the whole of the session, whether it's 15 or 20 minutes. As the car gets lighter, the tyres can still give you enough performance that means you're getting quicker. I remember when it was always like that. And we've had great time watching, you know, almost last man gets pole every time they come through.
Yeah, it's been tremendous, hasn't it? It's a fabulous tyre that, as you say, the Continental has developed for these cars.
Chris Cumming versus Alex Popov, that was a rivalry that we enjoyed.
And James French.
And James French as well, yeah. So 3 minutes to go. French will go down below a 59 this time around if he cleans the final corner. Oh, he just bounced a little bit wide there, but dragged it back. That'll have got breathing a little heavier. Here he comes from our right and crosses the line now. And the time updates now. 59, he has just taken a tiny bit off. He didn't quite get below 59. That was the last corner there, I reckon.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Probably lost 2 tenths there. Just having to drag it back. Couldn't quite get on the full throttle when he wanted to. Don Yount, by the way, has come down to a 2.021. And he's very nearly ahead of all of the GT Le Mans cars. Only the 66 Ganassi car that is ahead of him. And that will be a personal challenge for him to make sure he's ahead of the GT LM cars. He's got to find about 6 or 7 tenths. If he's going to do that, he might do that in these next couple of laps. He's been steadily chipping away. Actually, last time around was the first time he didn't improve for Don.
James French isn't going to improve either. He's lost about a second on this first sector. Not sure then whether he's just going to call it a day and come into the pits and park it, or whether he's just going to cool off those Continental tyres and go for one more lap. Minute and a half remaining in the session, so he's certainly got time to come around now, I think, and have one more go to improve upon that 159.2.
Still to come. Prototype qualifying will set the outright pole for the Continental Tire Road Race Showcase feature event on Sunday, the WeatherTech Sports Car Championship here at Road America. And following qualifying, barely time to take a breath or refill your beverages before getting back trackside, or indeed back in front of your connected device if you're around the world for IMSA TV and radio coverage. Radio starting off 10 minutes to the next hour with the countdown to green, and then we'll be joined by pictures before the green flag at 1/2 the next hour, 30 minutes past the next hour. So expect TV to come up around about 25 minutes past. Here's James coming through, and with 35 seconds to go, he will get one more lap. He stayed out, so he's going to have a go, Jeremy. Performance Tech watching on in their pit area at the moment.
Yeah, about 3.5 seconds off his last lap compared to his previous lap. So yeah, just cooling those tyres down a little bit. And I'm sure there's plenty of life in them. Can James put it all together and get one more fast lap and get down below 159?
Checkered flag is out. Oh,
Yes,
James
the
French
answer.
is very quick in the first sector.
Another 1/10 of a second there.
Very good. Well, that proves that James is still fired up.
Yeah, I love it. A lot of family and friends here this weekend. So pretty cleanly on the power, nice and early out of turn 8 through the carousel, hugging that inside line. Shortest way around, carries lots of momentum through there and onto the back straight towards the kink.
No hint of a lift through there. Doesn't even use all the exit on the left-hand curve on the way out of that right-hand corner at the kink. Now down at the braking area, getting bumpy down there now. But the V8 engine picking up, using the torque. James French then on pole position. Didn't quite better his time in sector 2, but it's not a bad time. It'll all be down to his exit eye fancy from the final corner, the right-hander at turn 14. And just how much can he take up the hill in terms of momentum? Looking across to the right then. There he goes, across the line to see the checkered flag. 59.149. So close to breaking that 59, 1 minute 59 second barrier.
And last year he qualified at 1:59.133, so 16 thousandths away from his pole time from last year for James French.
That's consistency, Jeremy, isn't it? I gave it all I got, Gov, honestly.
Yeah.
Can't really argue with that. So the checkered flag out. Just waiting for Don Yount to come around. He's eased off in the middle sector, so I don't think he's going to improve. So he will not quite clear all of the GT Le Mans field. And into the pit lane, in fact, for Don this time around, as our pole sitter is at turn 5. So, Jeremy, that's another pole position.
Yes, it is.
Very, very impressive
Very good.
indeed.
A 10th pole then for James French in his IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship career. I think that might be more than anybody else, actually. No. Is it? Yeah, I think it is.
Well, you can only race who's out there, and what he's been doing, and thank you for that, James, and for the team. He hasn't just put in a couple of laps and parked it. He's gone out there and raced the most difficult competitor of all, that of time. I'm delighted to see that. That's a really good attitude from Performance Tech and from James to get out there. I don't think Don or Mark expect to get anywhere near the qualifying runs that James is capable of doing. But James stays out there for the whole 15 minutes. Yeah, very impressed with that. And heading back towards us now. Very relaxed down in the Performance Tech pit area. Shea Adam is there as they're watching him pull right-handed into the long entrance to pit lane. He practices his pit lane entry though and doesn't brake till the very last moment. On with the pit lane limiter that sees the additional lights flashing left to right on the front of the red, black and grey machine, and he will pull up next to Shea in just a few moments' time.
Yeah, and he is the record setter already in with poles earned in the IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championships. It'll be his 10th. Tied for second place are Colin Brown and Ricky Taylor on 6. So Ricky Taylor has an opportunity, perhaps assuming he's going to be qualified number 10 car, to break that tie with Colin Brown in a little while.
Immediately the tyres come off. They will be used to start the race tomorrow. Set of transport tyres getting ready to go on. James French unhooks himself from the car and heads towards the pit lane. And Shea Adam is there. Gloves are off, helmet about to come off. And Shea Adam has our 3rd of 4 pole sitters. Still to come, prototypes. But for now, it's congratulations to James French and Performance Tech for pole position in a 1:59.149 for the prototype challenge category. Shea?
Well, and for James French, this pole is a little bit extra special because whenever you get on pole at home, that's something cool. But you're 3rd in a row here at Road America. It's got to feel pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely. just great to have it happen, you know, at our home event. Have lots of friends and family out here today that are out to support. So yeah, I'm just happy we got a break from the weather. It finally stopped raining on us and we got some sunshine. So yeah, just a beautiful day out here. Can't thank the team enough. Had a fantastic car, and looking forward to tomorrow.
It's your 10th pole in this championship. Every time you get on pole, you get that cool Total flag, you get the sunglasses. What do you do with all that stuff?
So far, they've been gifts, the sunglasses. A lot of my friends currently have the the same pair of sunglasses. So yeah, I still haven't figured out what to do with the flags yet, but I'm working on it.
Well, congratulations. You got plenty of time to figure that out. And one last question. If it rains tomorrow, you going to be happy?
It doesn't matter either way, to be honest. I think it's fun no matter what. It definitely changes some things for us. But yeah, I'm happy either way.
Lots of good attitudes down here in the pit lane, John.
Thank you, Shea. Shea Adam with that Continental Tire pit lane report and another one of our pole sitters. Just before we get into qualifying here, I'll give you again the reminder that we've got more action in sound and vision. No geo blocks, no hard brakes, just all-out racing from flag to flag all around the world from trackside here at roadamerica.com. Thanks to IMSA.tv and IMSA Radio together. We'll be on the air at 25 past 2 local time for the Lamborghini race, and then 25 past 4 local time, the TV coming up for the Conti race this afternoon. And that again is no geo blocks, no ads, so no excuses to miss the action. Expect us at about 3:50 for the countdown to green. So all a bit packed today. Lunch break slated at 3:20. But that's not going to happen, is it? So congratulations to James French and the Performance Tech team. And next up, Jeremy, prototypes. Few changes to talk about here. Most people, I accept that perhaps haven't been listening all the way through the working week, but now on a Saturday with the video up as well around the world. So let's just remind everybody what's been going on so far. First 5 races of the season were all going the way of the Konica Minolta number 10, the shiny black Cadillac, the Jordan and Ricky Taylor show. Haven't had it all their own way in the last 2 or 3 races, although in fairness, slight mistake in qualifying, which put the car at the back at Detroit, was made up for by some outstanding driving and brilliant strategy. Watkins Glen, first lap incident. Ollie Pla getting together with the 10 car. Broken steering, that took them back down the order. They fought back to get valuable championship points. And then when leading at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, slight misjudgment and clipped Tommy Milner's Corvette, sent both cars into the tyre wall. Tommy Milner retired on the spot. Amazingly, the Cadillac was able to continue and again salvage some points. So they come into this weekend with a 19-point lead at the top of the prototypes category. Ricky is on qualifying duties, already installed in the cockpit of the Cadillac. They may have a couple of different challenges this weekend. Visit Florida with a brand new chassis. Switched from the Multimatic Riley to the Ligier, and already big smiles on the face of that team. Renke van der Zande and Mark Goosens still learning the car. The team still learning the car, but they've got a big workshop manual to read through these next few weeks. And they'll be able to play with it because they're not at the next round, of course. And we've had some decent performances in the early sessions out of the Nismo-powered cars. Pipo Derani here for the first time in the 22 car, which still bears Ed Brown's name, although Ed not expected to be seen for the rest of the season in the prototypes after his back surgery went well.
Don't think he's doing it.
I don't think so.
No.
Well, not in a prototype.
Oh, yes, good point.
I said John cryptically.
Yes,
not cryptically at all, really.
No, because he made no secret, did he, when he announced that he was stepping out of prototypes, that he was look at some potential opportunities in a GT3 car?
Ferrari would be my guess. Has
Been there, done that
yeah,
before.
has an association with that brand and the 488 GTE. Currently leading the championship in GT Daytona.
Yep. And the manufacturer.
He's also going to have a test of an AMG and an Audi R8. It's the Intel that's coming from the paddock.
Leading manufacturers as well in GT Daytona is Ferrari, by just 3 points over Mercedes, and 3 points further back is Acura. So that battle very much on the final few races of the season. This is going to be an interesting session now. We'll find out who is going to be qualifying each of the cars. It's Misha Goikhberg in the Brady 5 car. As usual, Jose Gutierrez will qualify the Ligier number 52 for PR1 Matheson Motorsports. So those two certainly aren't the fastest drivers in those cars, or the most experienced, but they are very, very capable and both improving. Misha Goikhberg had a fantastic qualifying effort at the Canadian Tire Motorsports Park last time out, put his car on the outside of the front row. And I think the Oracle was fastest through the trap speeds this morning, even quicker than the Cadillac.
Yeah, Olivier Ply's back for the 52 PR1 Matheson team. Ollie always extremely competitive.
Yeah, just 2 races to go after here for the prototypes.
Correct.
We've got 3 for the GT cars before them with VIR. But the prototypes won't be at VIR. They just have Mazda Raceway, Laguna Seca and Petit Le Mans at Road Atlanta to go.
Can't believe how quick this season has gone by, Jeremy.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Seems like yesterday that we're at Daytona.
Yeah.
I've clapped with my air miles since then, frankly. So, cars again make the point. We might not see fast laps immediately, bringing the Continental tyres up to pressure and temperature. Just go through the drivers that are out there. Scott Sharp for the Nismo-powered Ligier number 2, the ESM Tequila Patron car. Christian Fittipaldi for the number 5 Cadillac. Ricky Taylor we've mentioned for the 10 Cadillac. Johannes van Overbeek for the 2nd Nissan, the 22 car. Eric Curran for the 31, the red Cadillac. Jose Gutierrez qualifying the 52. Okay, so no Ollie Ply in there. Misha Goikhberg in the 85, the bright yellow Orica for JDC Miller Motorsports. As Jeremy said, they're planning to run 2 cars next year. And Mark Goosens in the Ligier of VisitFlorida.com. The number 90 car, resplendent in its VisitFlorida.com livery, the blue car. Ricky is studying concentration as he looks across the corner at Canada corner. Very relaxed. As little movement as possible that he needs to put into the steering wheel, but eyes always focusing forward down the road through the final corner. Just fighting the car a little bit on the exit there. Making a couple of adjustments as he comes up the hill. Making sure he's comfortable as he starts to get up to speed. And the first lap at speed is a 1:54.7. It's a 1:54.724 actually. Eric Curran 1:56 flat. Christian Fittipaldi 1:56 flat. So already
impressive first lap for Ricky Taylor. The track record for the IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship, 1:54.507, set last year by Jonathan Bomarito. First flying lap for Ricky Taylor is within 2/10 of that. Stout effort. He was a whole more than a second and a quarter clear of everybody else in that first flying lap for Ricky Taylor. And he's gone purple again in sector 1, so this is going to be a significantly quicker lap for Ricky Taylor. Already got 3 poles this season, has Ricky.
Already tested an IndyCar this year as well. Pretty cool, he was telling me the other day. It was the Penske test, wasn't it? where his future lies. Came up through karting, as did his younger brother Jordan. It was 2 years between them, just under. And Ricky pretty much jumping straight into prototype racing after his early career, whereas Jordan was on the GT path. Drove a Mazda, a Camaro, and then a Corvette. In fact, it was his brother leaving Wayne Taylor Racing to go to Spirit of Daytona, wasn't it, that he went to? Yeah. Thank you, Shay, for reminding me that. And that gave Jordan the chance to jump into his dad's team.
Ricky had a race in my F2000 car, actually.
Did he?
On the West Coast, yeah.
How did he do?
Oh, very well. Well, except we, unfortunately... Yeah, no, very well. He was quick. And a pleasure to deal with as well. There he is, 153.0 for Ricky Taylor.
Track record, qualifying record there.
Oh, by a long way. By a second and a half. And
be a bit of a redemption.
So it's already the fastest time this morning was a 53.8. That was by Ryan DL.
Yeah.
And so already 3/4 of a second inside. That is Ricky Taylor. That's going to be tough to beat, I think. 53.0. That's a pretty stout lap.
Well, that's impressive. Just for reference, the IndyCar pole position from June was Helio Castroneves at 1:41.3. So it's not bad for a car that weighs as much as these do. That's very interesting. Probably producing a lot less horsepower as well than an IndyCar nowadays. 85 out on track is Misha Goikberg. This is another driver who's come up through the ladder series, goes very wide indeed through the King and just about keeps the left-hand side Continentals on the yellow and red striped curbs, excuse me.
A bit of a margin there on the left-hand side of the car as it turns into Canada corner. It's a little bit bumpy out there.
Yes, I'd forgotten until I was watching some of the other classes earlier on today, Jeremy, just how bumpy it is around certain parts of Road America. Fantastic facility. Still talk of a new pit complex on the other side of the track from where we are now.
2nd to 7th. Oh, it's just been Jens van Overbeek's just ruined what I was going to say. But it was 2nd to 7th. It was covered by 0.2 of a second a few minutes ago. Van Overbeek's just improved a little bit to 154.4. Mark Goossens up to 2nd place at 154.4 also, but still both those two a full second, 1.3. Jose Gutierrez up into 2nd place now, 54.3, but it's super tight. I mean, forget Ricky Taylor, he's in another planet right now. He's just got purple again in Sector 1.
Gutierrez is really leading on the 52 car. A slight change in the livery for this weekend, but still a mostly white car heading underneath the Sargento Bridge down to the kink at turn 4 and now down the hill to 5.
54.2 in the earlier session this morning did Gutierrez in that 52 car, so down to within 1/10 of a second of that.
He looks comfortable, he really does. Mark Goossens in 3rd, so Cadillac, that's Dallara chassis, Ligier, in fact, because the Nismo power car is a Ligier chassis as well. Then 2 more Dallara Cadillacs, then the Oreca.
Yeah, but Eric Curran ahead of Christian Fittipaldi at the moment by 0.012. This lap around Eric Curran. Oh, it looks like Christian Fittipaldi's lifted off in number 5 car. Eric Curran's still on it though. He's got personal best in Sector 2.
What a season this has been for the Taylor family, because Wayne Taylor, of course, is the chef to keep, the team principal. Nice little touch on the
good run here as well.
Yeah, Goossens head down, looking at his dials as he climbs through to the top of the hill, changing up, flicking up with the right hand
Curran to second place, and then pit by Goossens. So Curran did a 54.2, Goossens a 54.1.
And we've still got 5 minutes to go.
And Jose Gutierrez a 54.0. Great battle once again. Those three cars then, the last three across the line, just a tenth of a second between them.
But a second behind Ricky Taylor, and that is the Ricky Taylor effect. Yeah. You know, Ricky and Jordan are just at the very top of their game at the moment, both in their mid to late 20s. Absolute prime of life and racing shows that.
Scott Sharp up into third place now in a Nissan car number 2.
So from second to 8th, just under half a second, on half a second, but a second between first and second. That's extraordinary, isn't it, around 4 miles?
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest, just being a second behind Ricky Taylor on a 4-mile circuit, you've got to be pushing pretty hard, Jeremy.
Yeah, I mean, this is another good lap here from Ricky. It's not as good as his previous one, but it's still a good lap. It's going to be quicker than anybody else has managed, that's for sure.
Delara Cadillac bouncing around.
Momentum is carrying through turn 14.
Been mentioned by a couple of people. The Ligier's looking quite stiff, rattling their drivers around a bit.
Yeah, 53.3 that was for Ricky Taylor. So anybody else has managed 54.0.
Yeah, so still 3/4 of a second quicker, and you know, that's a bad lap for him. That's a cool down lap.
Yeah. Curran, the 54.4 it was last time, so no improvement for Curran.
Yeah, that was only a couple of tenths away though, doing nicely.
9 for Fittipaldi, so Fittipaldi, he's a full second and a half. He finally drops 7th at the moment. I'm sure he's ever qualified that far back.
Scott Sharp leaning on the number 2, the Nismo powered car.
6th at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park was Christian Fittipaldi. Other than that, he's generally much top, well, 3 or 4.
Misha Goldberg has to find a half a tenth, and he's ahead of him. And Fittipaldi will be 8th. No Masters here this weekend. Change of organisation for Mazda for 2018. In fact, it's already happened. And it will be Mazda Yost Racing for 2018. Ralph Juttner is here this weekend in Mazda branded gear, looking for premises around the Atlanta area. They hope to be up and running. Oh, have they? Good, excellent. So, yeah. Hope to be up and running by the time we're there for Petit Le Mans, is what Ralph was saying.
I think they've already got some now. Yeah, Fittipaldi's never qualified back in 7th. He was 5th at a couple of races towards the end of last year, but never 7th.
Well, look at the two other Cadillacs, Jeremy. 154.2 and 154.4 for Eric Curran and Johannes Van, Eric Curran and Christian Fittipaldi. 154.5 for Fittipaldi, should I say? So they're pretty close together, but they're a second and a half away from what Ricky Taylor has rung out of the 10 car. He's come into the pits, by the way, Ricky. No sense in putting any more work on the tyres. And he rumbles down towards Shea Adam, who has been standing next to the 10 car pit for quite some time now, haven't you, Shea?
Just since the session began.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't need to have a crystal ball to work that one out.
Van Overbeek did improve his position. I think he's just snuck ahead of Eric Curran to up
yes,
in 5th place. Then for Van Overbeek at 154.1.
Coming into the pits now, Mark Goossens. First qualifying session for VFR in their Ligier with the Gibson engine. Remember, 4 different chassis manufacturers, only 4. And if you take the chassis package off the shelf from the manufacturer, you get a set of bodywork and a 4.2 litre V8 90-degree engine built by Gibson, putting out a strong 600 horsepower and bags of torque. Check the flag is out. However, if you team up with the manufacturer, you can take one of their manufacturer engines and develop that. 6.2 litre in the back of the caddies. And that also means you get some leeway with the bodywork, provided you incorporate some styling cues from the manufacturer concerned. So if you look very carefully at the Cadillac, you'll see the grille shape and more than the odd one or two of the detail items, including the wheels, are all very much Cadillac style. Same for Mazda, although they're not here this weekend, as we've mentioned, and Nissan with the Nismo Ligier connection. Pit lane for 85, Misha Goikberg. So Jose Gutierrez still out there, but I don't think he's going to improve, so he'll be diving into the pit lane off the final corner. Ricky Taylor out of the car, and Shea Adam will be the first person to speak to our pole sitter for the Continental Tire Road Race Showcase on Sunday here at Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. We're live trackside on IMSA TV and radio.
Well, another pole for Ricky Taylor this year. That's 7 in this series. Jordan only has 1. You gonna let him qualify one of these days?
No, I gotta have an upper hand on him somewhere. I mean, he's beating me on Instagram followers and likes and all this stuff, so I'll continue qualifying. Hopefully I'll keep this one stat up on him. But yeah, just what an amazing day. The car was beautiful today. I think the team just really executed and gave me a very good qualifying car. Obviously this is, you know, one lap, and we had 15 minutes to do it, and the car was just beautiful. But I think tomorrow is going to be a different story, where there's a lot of really good cars, and you know, once the finishing guys get in there, I'm sure it's going to be a really hard fight. But we'll enjoy this for now. It's good to have another good starting position. We need to get some points again here this weekend after 2 tough ones. So really happy for Konica Minolta. Continental tires were on rails, and looking forward to tomorrow.
Now, the car is BOP'd. It's got different downforce settings that you guys can do. How difficult is it to drive versus the car you had at the beginning of the year, where it was basically free reign? Yeah,
I mean, it's funny you say that. We're actually, we've been lower downforce at every track, lower downforce than Daytona, if that gives an idea. Daytona is normally as low as you can go. So, yeah, I mean, the car is, the team, with every change that we get given, the team keeps finding other ways to go fast. And I mean, that's just, no matter how many times these guys win, it's never enough, and they just keep wanting to improve. And I think it's just thanks to them that you know, we have this result here today.
I asked you at the last round, when do you start thinking championship? And you said, a little bit further down. You're already thinking it, but already further down. All right, we got 3 races to go. You thinking about it? Yeah, of course. I mean, we've had a bit of a fright the last 2 weekends about, you know, how we can lose points quickly. Luckily, we only lost a point in Mosport, but yeah, we wanna close the championship up before Petit Le Mans if we can, so we can go have some fun there. But starting up front, we're in the clean air, nobody to fight with at the moment. Once the race starts, obviously we're gonna have some pressure, but yeah, got to start thinking about the championship, and that's the big goal. Good luck tomorrow. Thank you very much.
Jeremy.
Yeah, I just wondered where all that time came from, and that was a heck of a lap from Ricky that he put together there. You know, he found almost a complete. Well, wait a minute, it was Jordan who set the time, wasn't it, earlier on? Mm-hmm. His previous best lap was a 54.6, so more than a second and a half. Ricky found compared to the last time he was driving this car earlier today. So. That was an amazing effort. He's just so relaxed. He's so confident. He's completely at ease with this car. He just loves driving the car, and he's able to use that confidence and really extract the maximum potential. And look, you know, he's got the same car as Eric Curran and Christian Fittipaldi. And hats off there to Eric Curran, because you know Eric wouldn't claim to be as fast as Dane Cameron. But Eric Curran out-qualified Christian Fittipaldi, who was always known as a really good qualifier, by a whole half a second.
Jeremy Shaw was alongside me. John Hindove here in the IMSA radio broadcast centre. Our Continental Tire Pit Lane reports came courtesy of Shea Adam. We're not finished with sound and vision today, or indeed across the weekend. The WeatherTech Sports Car Championship in full, without any interruption. If you're outside the US, for the rest of the world, then you can tune in tomorrow for that. Today we've got Lamborghini and, of course, the full Continental Tire Sports Car Challenge race, and that's for everyone. There's no geo-block, no ad breaks, no excuse whatsoever to miss any more of the action. It's all live here throughout the weekend from roadamerica.com on IMSA Radio and IMSA TV.